Hello, this is OverLordBou back with SAT score, and today we're going to be doing a video on the new Tier 7 battleship, Japanese battleship Hyuga. Now, this ship is definitely a beauty. I love the fact that this ship has 4 rear-facing turrets. It makes this a really strong kiting vessel. It also has a beautiful reload booster, which we're going to do a little bit later. I love this ship. It's definitely one of the best tiers, definitely one of the best premiums that came out for Japanese currently, because there's a certain trend with the Japanese premiums where they're not too good, but this one turns that around. It's like, oh yeah, instead of being bad, this is like super good. I love playing this ship. It's so much fun. What are your thoughts on this ship?
So, to give a brief breakdown of the ship, Hyuga is a Tier 7 version of Bo's favorite ship, the Fuso. The it's a Ise class battleship, which is a follow-on to the Fuso. Aside from minor differences, they're pretty practically the same. So, the reason why Hyuga is in Tier 7 and not Tier 6 is because she has considerably better Sigma, 1.8 Sigma, which on a 12-gun battleship, which gives her the same accuracy as the other standard battleships. But more importantly, she also carries the main battle reload booster, which is unique for a Japanese battleship. Works similar to the reload boosters you see on other ships. Like the other Japanese battleships, she doesn't have very strong AA. How's her turret firing angles when kiting?
The turret fire angles are really like they're okay. Like they're not the best, but the thing is that since they're rear facing, you could easily turn the ship like this, shoot on this end, turn the ship like this, turn on that end. So you're able to kite back and forth and not just be in one line, which makes you a lot harder target to hit, and it makes it where you're able to have more gunfire on the target that are chasing you, while they have to show more to get more guns onto you, which means you're more likely to do a lot more damage consistently rather than them.
The extra versatility in changing directions when kiting can be very useful.
Yep, exactly, and that's why I love this. It's so much fun. The HE on it's amazing. The AP is also really good too. The guns are 356s, so they can't pen everything, but if something gives you a broadside, it's definitely gonna hurt. So let's go over the captain build. You want to go over this one there, SAT score?
Alright, so because 10.4 is coming up shortly, we're going to assume that Deadeye is no longer available. So regardless, this build is a pretty typical tanking battleship build. Gun reloads preferred here, since you can make a very good use of your reload booster. Turret traverse is standard. The alternative is to take a priority target. You can take Adrenaline Rush. Take Adrenaline Rush first, and then I would recommend Fire Prevention as your first tier 4 skill. Afterwards, go ahead and take Concealment Expert and Emergency Repair Specialist, and then finally end off with Basics of Survivability. Hyuga isn't going to win any concealment battles, but with 15 kilometers, that at least gives you some chance of positioning. This is also doubles as your battleship captain, so you can move it back to your mainline tech tree Japanese battleships.
Yep, this captain works both with the Hyuga as well as the Yamato and every other Japanese tech tree line battleship as well. So it's very versatile. So this could be a great trainer for you if you're trying to go down the Yamato battleship line. So let's move on to the equipment. So the equipment is for this ship is the main armament modification, damage con system modification 1, the aiming system modifications 1, and then the damage control system modifications 2. Usually at tier 7s, you're more likely to take a lot more. It's more punishing for the HE, as well as that tier is also a lot more torps. Like they're a lot more faster reloading, so I take this one instead. But you're also able to do the propulsion modification if you like that as well. It'll help you with the speed juking when you're super far away, using the full range of your guns, which are about 20.3 kilometers. So you can also take propulsion as well. So if you prefer more of a tank build, go for damage control systems 2. I'm trying to go for more of a juking, where you're juking more of the battleship shots. Propulsion modification 1 is definitely for you. So with this build, you have the DCP, which is 80-second reload and 11-second consumables activity. The health does go for 30.8 seconds. It heals about 11k, which is a lot for a tier 7. I find it's a really good amount. Now, the special thing about this main rep battery reload booster is it cuts the reload in half for 15 seconds. So the 28-second reload will go down to 14 seconds. So this will give you a salvo in 15 seconds. So, and it also has a reload of 60 seconds, which means that you can use this reload booster rapid fire right after pretty much they're done. So you do have a limited amount, that's true, but if you have, say, a battleship, right, you shoot at them, and then he starts turning broadside to you, you can then activate the reload booster and get that really good broadside shot on him when he's not expecting, which is very important. Now, this ship does not have a spotter plane. It does have a fighter instead. So there is that lacking of the spotter, but its range is 20.3. So its range is really good. So that's the commander build and the equipment build for the Hyuga. We're going to go to the replay now. So see you in a bit.
All right. Well, we've already discussed most of the ship in the previous segment. Tier 7, effectively Tier 7 Fuso with better accuracy and main battery reload booster. On this map, the 20-kilometer range is more than sufficient, as you cover literally half the map. However, because it's a bit smaller map, you're probably not going to be able to disengage with 15-kilometer base concealment. But that's not too much of a problem since you dominate every other tier 5, tier 6 ship, no issue.
Yeah, exactly. Like with this 20.3 kilometer range with the 14.7 concealment on this map in particular, since it is a tier 7 map, it makes it where this ship is able to really just snipe across the map or get a nice CV kill if there's a CV too aggressive. Kind of like this Fuso. The Fuso on this map is really well known for doing sniper shots at Fusos across the map because it has the long range and then the spotter plane as well. So this ship doesn't have a spotter plane, so it's not able to do that, but it already comes with the 20.3 kilometer range, which is insane for a tier 7 battleship.
Another thing to note is that the 20-kilometer range allows Hyuga to up-tier much better than other ships. I find that some tier 8 ships like Monarch and Roma have 18-kilometer ranges at tier 8, and that is pretty painful when you get into tier 9, tier 10 matches. With Hyuga's 20 kilometers, you should be fine even in tier 9 matches, since that long range allows you to stay outside with relative safety.
Yep, exactly. And this ship also has a really nice dispersion. And when it's up tiered, it can always switch over to HE and cause permafires. The Japanese Battleship line does have a high percent chance of fire chances. So, being able to throw HE at the higher tier ship is definitely a very strong suit for the upper tiers, because as I said, the guns aren't very big. They're 356s, and so they're not going to be able to pen the tier 8 and 9 battleships quite well at range, but they can always throw the HE to do a lot of damage and the fire chance as well.
So, as we saw in that shot with Leander, the 14-inch guns are actually, because of their lower penetration, they're pretty solid against other cruisers, since you have a lower chance of over-penetrating. Although you did over-penetrate Leander a lot, you did land a Citadel, so
yes,
sucks that half his health is gone.
Yep. That was very tasty damage indeed, very tasty. So, how would the Hyuga compare as a premium ship in the Japanese line to the other? I know there's an older tier 7 battleship that most people don't really talk about too much called the Ashitaka. How would you compare the two on which would be better to buy?
So Ashitaka is another tier 7 Japanese premium. Also a battleship. The difference is that she uses the Amagi A hull. If the old Amagi A hull, except she's a tier 7 now.
Mm.
So because of that, she shares some similarity with it, including the turret arrangement and I believe it was 16-inch guns. However, compared to Hyuga, she has 16-inch guns, which allows her to overmatch ships.
Mm-hmm.
But she does not. She has a longer reload because of that.
Yes.
She has a different. She has a different hull as well, so the armor plating is a little bit different. I need to go look in port for a direct comparison, so I won't compare that here. AA is negligible since both ships are crying anyways.
Yes,
And
Japanese isn't really, their BBs aren't really known for strong anti-air.
Your best chance against carriers is really just your fighters.
Yep, it's just a scare tactic pretty much.
But probably more importantly, in Ashitaka's favor, she has a she's considerably faster. I'm maxing out at 30 knots versus Hyuga's 25 knots.
Yep.
So she has better positioning abilities, and I think she gets better concealment. Let me check.
Yeah, the Hyuga has a 14.7 concealment with the 20.3.
Actually, no. I'll take that back. They have about the same concealment. Ashitaka is a little bit worse, but effectively the same.
Yeah. The side effect of the Japanese battleship line is that most of the time they have really bad concealment. The tier 9 and 10 get a little bit better, but not really. They all stay about the same. Like, while the French BBs have better concealment and the British BBs also have a good concealment, the Japanese do not get. They sacrifice the concealment for more range.
So, Bo's already gone through all 3 of his reload boosters. The reload boosters are very good on Hyuga, but you only carry 3, so they can run out super quickly.
Yep, and there's no way of getting more on battleships, since the old superintendent that used to be on battleships, it now only gives you extra heals. So most of the battleship builds nowadays are either centered around Deadeye or the tank build, and since Deadeye is being removed, we made a build that was more focused on the tank meta currently, because in the future they are going to change the skills after a few more months of testing, so in the future it'll definitely change. But for now, the best build for battleships is just the 3 bottom on the bottom right, which is the fire prevention, the concealment, and then the heal. The superintendent, because that new superintendent, it gives you an extra heal. It also makes it where you have a 10% faster recharge of your DCP and a 10% more of your heal. So you get a bigger heal, you get a faster DCP back, and then you also get 1 extra heal. So it is really useful to use that in a tank build. Because I always get confused if the superintendent gives you 10% more heal, or if it gives you like a 10% faster, like it comes back faster.
I'll double check the description. I'm pretty sure it's 10% more heal.
Yeah, I'm 90% sure it's 10% more heal. I'm 90% sure on that one.
Let's see. So the action time is plus 10%.
Okay, so it gives you 10% more heal. Okay, cool. Sweet.
That's only assuming you can heal it in the first place.
Yep. Because like certain ships can only heal like certain Citadel amounts, or some can't heal Citadel amounts at all. So it all depends upon the ship if it's able to heal certain amounts of damage, pertaining to like the fire damage, AP, HE, flooding, torpedo, Citadel. It all matters in the fact that if you're able to heal it or not.
All right. So we kind of got sidetracked, but as for buying Ashitaka or Hyuga, uh, my money would be on Hyuga. Although Ashitaka is more consistent, Hyuga overall feels like a slightly better ship, especially when you can reload abuse with that MBRB.
Oh yeah, that MBRB is so strong on this ship. It's very, very useful when you're cutting away or you're pushing and you do your shot. It may do good or may not. But the thing is that people will memorize the length of reloads on battleships and stuff. They'll learn what the ship can do, right? And so usually when that happens is you'll shoot and then they'll reposition during that time. So they'll show their broadside to turn away from you, or they'll move to shoot you. So they'll show more of their side or try turning left or right. And when they do that, you can pop your reload booster, the MBRB, and be able to punish them for that, which is really, really useful, because that extra damage you do like during that could literally just result in a higher damage of that match or more kills, and or both, because a lot of people aren't used to the MBRB yet from the Hyuga, and it's something that you can't really time. So when you go broadside to one, you just don't know if he's gonna activate or not. It's kind of a fear factor too.
Mm-hmm. Ashitaka is still more consistent though. So, and she's not a bad ship by any means. She's just not very impressive, just
Yes.
because she's like most people will treat her as a down tier Damaki. And so generally you're kind of turned off by her lack of uniqueness compared to the Hyuga.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the Hyuga is very unique. It's one of the few battleships in this game with an actual reload booster. And this one's very unique on the fact that it reloads in 60 seconds. So you get it back right away. Which is very, very, very useful indeed. It also comes with you can also buy a very nice camo to it, like kind of compared to the Hyeta camo. Sadly, the camo doesn't give you any extra bonuses. Besides like the other permanent one that comes with the ship. So it's more just for looks, in the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Although we're not going to show it in this video, what do you think about the Hyuga's potential in ranked?
In ranked, I feel like if it's a tier 7 only ranked, I feel like this ship could be very strong. Like, the Sinop was known as the very strong tier 7 ranked ship, right? The Sinop is.
That is correct.
So this ship is very hard to citadel, which is what the Sinop is very good at doing. So if you're able to stay angled at a Sinop, and just do the wiggle with the rear turrets and keep throwing HE, like, you can't throw AP at the Sinop, but if he's bow into you, you're not gonna be able to pin it. So you have to rely on the HE power of this ship, and the ship does have a total of 12 guns on it. So you're gonna be able to keep pelting it over and over and over again with the HE, and if he uses his DCP on a fire, you instantly use your reload and then pop another one right on him and get a permit fire. And so this thing has more of a sustain over the Sinop, because the Sinop can only be bow in, because if it shows its sides, it's done. While this ship, it's able to kite very effectively. It can also go bow in as well. It has a nice bow as well. It has a very nice armor. It's not the best by any means, but it's very strong for its tier.
I feel what would tip the balance in Hyuga's favor is her ability to kill cruisers.
Oh yeah, the cruisers.
The meta cruisers tend to be like Belfast, Atlanta, ships that are relatively squishy but very high DPM.
Yep.
So Hyuga is especially powerful since you get 2 shots whenever that cruiser is spotted. So if you take out take out that cruiser early on, then you can help your destroyers immensely in taking cap control.
Yep, that's a very, very good observation. Thank you for that. Well, do you think there's anything else we should add? It looks like this game is almost done.
So would you recommend the Hyuga then?
Oh, yes, I would highly recommend this ship. I would highly recommend this ship as a trainer for the Yamato, the Japanese British class. I would definitely recommend it. Highly recommend it. Highly. I think it's amazing. I love playing this ship. I play it pretty much every day. It's so much fun to play. It's a great crew trainer. You get tons of XP, tons of credits on it. It's really easy to do the damage on it as long as you kite, and you just know not to be too aggro. It's a very good trainer for the line. I think it's an amazing ship. But yeah, I think that's it for the day, though. Like, thank you so much again, SAT Score. I appreciate your time, brother.
Not a problem.
All right, well, thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys have any questions or concerns, definitely write them down below in the comments section. I'll see you guys next time. Talk to y'all later.